In this video, we're going to take a quick look at using some delay techniques to add some interest to a drum loop. So this is the drums as they stand. So the first technique is just something quite simple that will allow us to bridge this gap here, this small fill. And what we're going to do is create a delay that dies down as it goes across here. So first thing is to grab some kind of percussion. So something like this that's got a bit of tonality to it and also a nice tail on there. And I will stick one MIDI note in and then follow this straight away with a simple delay. And we're going to set this to 8th note delays, and we'll set the link on so that the delay is exactly the same on the left and the right side. And let's crank the feedback up here. So fairly simple stuff. Now the idea is going to be to actually reverse this and have it play into another sample as the rest of the drums kick in, and we'll probably stick with this exact same drum that we've got here. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this channel, and in fact let's make one other change to this. To make the delay a little bit more choppy, I'm going to pull the release in on this sample. That way each of the delays is more clearly defined. So we'll freeze and flatten this. And then we can take our original sample, put the release back up on it, and we'll take the delay off. And then reverse this sample round so it leads up into it. So at the moment this doesn't sound quite in the time that I'd like it, so we'll go for 16ths. I'm just going to nudge this back a little bit and also stick a reverb on here because it's very dry at the moment. We want something that's quite a big boom coming out of this, and let's crank up the decay time on there. And also I'm going to pitch the sample down. A little bit more volume on this. And again, let's add a reverb to this sound. I don't want this to be quite so fierce. That should do. Okay, so we're getting somewhere with this now. I'm going to duplicate the channel again. Take the reverb off of this one and reverse this back round the other way so that we've got a lead in and a lead out here to this delay. And then to add a little bit more interest to this, we'll throw the frequency shifter on. And we're just going to automate the fine, and we'll leave the first hit exactly as it is. And we'll have the second one. We go something quite extreme like this. And then I'm going to copy that frequency shifter over so that it pitches back up on this sample. So something like that will do. And finally, let's throw a filter on this. I'm going to take this reverb actually and stick this after the frequency shifter. And let's throw the filter on this, and we'll just have this sweeping upwards just before we get to that big hit. little bit more volume out of this one, I think. Okay, so once we get past the drum fill here, it'd be nice to have some shakers or hats coming in just to pick up the pace a little bit and add a bit more energy. So again, we're going to use a delay on this, but first let's draw in a simple pattern. We'll go for an 8th note pattern on this one. And I'm going to put a shaker sound in. It's got a bunch of shakers here. First one will probably work absolutely fine for this. So I'm going to take a little bit of the bottom end of this. And then again, use the simple delay to make a more interesting pattern with this. So I'm going to link this up again and go for the 3/16. A little bit of feedback on here. And then this control here will add a little bit of groove. Okay, and then finally we're going to go for an interesting pitched effect. Again, we'll just use some percussion for this. I'm going to draw in another MIDI clip here. And again, I'm going to look for something quite tonal in the percussion. This one will do nicely. And we'll stick this one up by an octave. And this time we're going to use the ping pong delay for this, just to bring a bit of stereo into proceedings, have something bouncing around the stereo field. And the idea with this is to turn this onto repitch mode and take it off a sync so that we can set the time in milliseconds, and then you can get these really cool kind of pitched effects out of this. So it's working nicely at the lower values there. Now the trick really is to have it come out of the delay still in time with the track, and you can use various different delay calculators that are available on the web, or alternatively just use the equation, which is, or rather the calculation, which is 60,000 divided by your BPM 125, and that will give you a quarter note in milliseconds, which I happen to know for this is 480, but because we want something a bit lower than that, we're going to divide it down a couple of times to get 120, so that's just dividing it in half and then in half again. So that's quite a nice delay for us to finish on, and it doesn't matter so much where you start as long as you're going to have it straight after the sound. Obviously, if you want it to delay for a particular length of time after the sound, again, you'd want to have that set to something that was synced to the beat. So let's have this a bit shorter, I think, and have this a bit lower. Okay, so let's listen to the loop in its entirety now. Okay, so obviously a few tweaks and adjustments in there just to pull everything in line, but you get the general idea on just a few techniques using delays that can really transform a drum loop. So The tutorial here uses the sample auditioner rack, and if you want to get hold of this one or the kick layering rack, any of those, just head over to the website, and on the right hand side there's a box to subscribe. You'll only ever receive updates when there are new free videos, articles, etc. No spam at all. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and any comments are very welcome. Take care.